welcome to my Arsenal v Newcastle match review. And Arsenal have just snatched the victory out of Newcastle United's hands there. And they did snatch it, because for large parts of the game, Newcastle defended very, very well, very solidly. And Arsenal broke them down. I think there's a few talking points here. Let's get into it. Penalty. It's not a penalty for me. Nick Pope generally gets a touch of the ball. And then Gyokeres, yes, there's a touch knee to knee, but Gyokeres flies in the air. He absolutely launches himself in the air, but there's no need to. I think possibly the overreacting sealed the fate of that penalty decision, because he generally did. He didn't roll about, but he fucking flung himself into it. So that didn't help. I think that Voltmade, or whatever he's called, that goal was a perfectly good goal. It was carbon copy of what happened at St James's was it 2 years ago, I think it was, where Gabriels swears he had a push in the back and Newcastle scored from it. This time was even less contact. It was quite pitiful of how light Gabriel went down there. Like, it was awful. He's might be one of the best in the league, and he's going down like that. You stay on your feet, you're making that header 100% harder for that Voltmate to just header it back to where it came from. Like, it's making it harder, but you've made it so easy for him because he's got a free header. So yeah, that wasn't fucking brilliant. That was a good goal by Newcastle. I'm not saying it's not, and I'm not saying it should be a foul, because it definitely wasn't. I did praise Jared Gillett though, because I thought some of the decisions he got leading up to the penalty and the penalty decision, I thought he got right. Obviously, he did give it on the pitch, but then he went to the yard and it got overturned. So him and Stockley Park both got praise. However, and Arsenal didn't help here, so I want to just say that too. Arsenal did not help their case here. But Saka was being fouled that weren't being given. There was other players that were being fouled and not being given. It doesn't help when you've got the likes of Trossard, Timber, Gabriel that are going down with a fucking gust of wind. They're not being touched, they're not being fouled, and they're just falling over. So I don't blame the referee for not giving us that many fouls, considering our reputation. However, before Newcastle fans come to me and start saying, yeah, you just dive about, he's cheated, Anthony Gordon is one of the worst players for it, so before you start looking at anybody else, look at your own players. Anthony Gordon was wrong about 4 times in the first half alone. God knows what happened in the second half. And then, again, Arteta made changes. I don't agree with the Mosquera coming off for William Saliba. I think that was a weird one, in my opinion. Because Mosquera, yes, he did slice the ball and it went out for the corner. That led to the goal. Completely understand that. There was a few times he gave the ball away. Completely understand that. William Saliba came on. He gave the ball away a few times, and he didn't make a major mistake for what I can see. But he didn't do much different to what Mosquera was doing. So I think that was a weird one. Obviously, he brought Martinelli on. He brought Marino on, which Marino scored the equaliser. And he done what he needed to do. The ball came to him, and he's headed it. Nick Pope, he was faultless all day, in my opinion. He was very, very hard to get the ball past all day. He made a few cracking saves with Eberechi a couple of times. I think Timber had one, and he was good all day. He generally was. But that header from Miko Moreno, no keeper saving that. It was right in the corner. I think he even hit off the post and went in. You can't blame Pope for that one. It was a good header. And I'm normally very critical of Miko Moreno, but fair play, good header. The corner, which led to Gabriel's redemption, really, his redemption story of the 90 minutes. Very weird, because I can't. It was like he didn't even have a run up. To be honest, he just kind of stood there, took a step, and jumped in front of Nick Pope and got the ball before Nick Pope did. Again, not really arguing for Nick Pope here, because if he doesn't come and it goes in, you argue why has he not come? He has come, and he unfortunately hasn't got to it. That's how goalkeeping happens sometimes. That's just how it is. But that is so critical for our season. So to go to for our season going ahead. Um, like the amount of times we've been at St James's Park at least playing Newcastle, they've been 1-0 up. We've struggled to break them down. We haven't had the people to score the goals, and we've not had the belief, not had any of that. We did today. But I'm not going to sit here and say Arsenal played phenomenal for every minute of the game, because we didn't. We were far off the boil here. We weren't that good, to be honest. I think we had spells, and I'll get into that in a minute, where Newcastle just couldn't keep up with us. But Newcastle were the better team for the majority of the game. They're very defensive, but they defended very well. They'd done what they needed to, and I'll give them credit. They didn't just camp out in their own box like I thought they would when they went 1-0 up. They started to come out, started to try and get Arsenal on the counter attack, things like that. So they did try to play football. They didn't just say, "Look, we're just going to sit back, protect this 1-0 lead, and whatever happens, happens." They went, "You know what? I think this game's for the taking. We can score another goal, another two, even." Like that's what you want your team to do. Unfortunately, it didn't pay off. It didn't pay off, but it did up until like what, the 88th minute or something like that, or 85th minute. It was definitely later on into the game where I don't know if it's the fact that Newcastle fell asleep a little bit or Arsenal took the chances that fell to them. Because ultimately they did fall to them. But what I was going to say was Arsenal, when you're playing the one touch in between the lines football, Newcastle couldn't keep up. We were so quick with it and we were getting up the pitch. As soon as you slow it down and you're sideways passing, backwards passing, and not having the emphasis to go forward, not having the passion, the drive to get up the pitch, is when we allowed Newcastle to get in. And that really annoys me because we are capable of playing that one touch, finesse football, but we don't do it for large periods of the game. But when we do, Newcastle just couldn't hang with us with that. They just couldn't keep up with it. And I don't understand why we didn't do that more often. But we always seem to do it in our own half. We didn't really do it attacking, which was a bit of a weird one for me, because you want the faster ball where you can score the goal. But anyway, I want to say this. I want to say this. Mikel Arteta got the lineup right for me. William Saliba is the only exception because you don't know if he still wasn't completely match fit or what. But the rest, he got it right for me, in my opinion. Eze, right in the middle. Saka on the right. Gyokeres up front. Trossard. I'll say this again. When Trossard starts, he's not that good. Martinelli comes on, he's brilliant. When Martinelli starts on the left, he's not that good. And when Trossard comes on, he's good. They're impact subs, those players. So that left-hand side's a weird one, especially if Noni Madueke out until mid-November. I don't think Arteta is to blame for the large periods of the game of us being behind. I do want to say it's the players. They just seemed a bit lacked self-belief, in my opinion. I think the only one that didn't was possibly Eze. Eze was the one that was faking, "Oh, I'm going to go this way and doing a wee scoop turn and going back." He was doing it on the edge of Newcastle's box. He wasn't doing it in our own half. He wasn't doing it in our own goal line. He was doing it where it mattered. No one was really doing that. I feel Declan Rice had a bit of a slow game. He's had a bit of a shit start to the season, to put it mildly. He's 100 million rated player, midfielder. In my opinion, we've not seen that 100 million rated side of him the whole of this season so far. And we've played Liverpool, City, United, and now Newcastle. Those are big, big games you need to turn up in. It's not a we want you to, it's you need to. If you've got that price tag above your head, you need to show why you're worth that. And for me, he has over the past couple of years. The start of the season, he's been a bit lackluster, let's just say that. Again, I want to go with this light touch. Arsenal, we are not going to win anything with this light touch mentality. that goal, if Gabriel was stronger and actually wanted to win the ball rather than win the foul, in my opinion, I don't think it would come about. It makes it harder for that Volt mate to get a clean header on the ball with a man behind him and a man in front of him. He's sandwiched in between. But he didn't have that. He had the space, he had the time to go forward. I think the penalty claim, Gyokeres was soft. If you try and take it round Pope, you've got an odds-on chance of tapping it in. Fair enough. The touch, it depends on the touch. If the touch's poor, you're not getting a chance. If it's all right, you're getting a chance. He didn't give himself any chance. He just wanted the foul. Again, that's twice in the first half we're wanting the foul rather than the chance or the ball. Saka, he was like Tachi normally is, which is starting to really grind on me a bit. Gyokeres went down a fair bit today. We need to eliminate that. We need to get that gone. We need to be peppering teams 2-3 goals a game. And then, if you want to sit back, do that. If you want to try and win fouls, which I'm not advocating for, do it. Don't do it when you're 1-0 down, 0-0, when the game's all there to be played for. Just don't do it. It really fucks me off when that happens. Eddie Howe, I want to give him props for the way he sets up Newcastle and the way he has for this season. He's one of the best defensively set goalkeepers, managers this year. I can't remember how many clean sheets Pope has got so far. I know it's quite a few. As if they can play that every week, no, they'll do pretty decent. For what I've seen, they haven't been able to. They struggle to score goals, which was another reason why I was really fucked off of why that Volt made was so easy to get that header on target. But that's beside the point. I'm very happy that that we got the win. Very happy indeed. The performance, on the other hand, it's a bit to be worked on. There needs to be improvement, is all I'm going to say. They need to go away and they need to absolutely... I don't know if it's self-belief. I don't know what it is. I don't blame Arteta for that one, because he set up, attackingly, he set up a good, strong team that could have easily won that game. But the players just seemed a bit lacklustre. And I'm just going to have a look here of Arsenal's next fixtures, because I can't remember. Well, we've got Olympiacos on Wednesday, so we're not even going to go into that. But next week is a big game. It's Arsenal v West Ham. It is a big game. And folk will say, yes, but West Ham, they've just lost their manager and Graham Potter. They've just got Nuno. It's a new manager. We should be able to catch them on the cold. They're 19th place. We're whatever we are. And I completely understand that. But at the same time, West Ham have dangerous players. They do. And I don't want to go into that match right now because I will do a match preview for that game. However, I do want to emphasise, and it'll be the last thing I say, this win today was massive, with Liverpool dropping points yesterday against Crystal Palace. Very big, because now we're not 5 points behind them. We're 2 points behind them. That is a big, big difference, and that gives us a big, big chance of keeping in tow with Liverpool for the rest of the season. Obviously, City won, so they're keeping up as well. But this just shows how big a game this was, how big a win this was. But my last remarks is, I do want to give props to Newcastle. I am quite a big hater of them, but you have to give them credit where it's due. They were really good defensively. They were good going forward. No complaints. Arsenal, bit lacklustre. We snatched out of their hands. But that is what we need to do if we want a chance of winning this league. But that's my match preview. If you like it, give it a quick like. If you don't, don't dislike it, but give it a wee comment. Because we always try and get back to your comments as much as possible. And if you've got anything you want to add or disagree with me with, pop in the comments and we'll get back to you. But yeah, that's it for this week. And come on, you Gunners.